When you have to learn a DAW or a new piece of hardware, or anything related to, let's say, software, or I suppose any device, one thing that is most important to learn at the beginning is the terminology that they use. The bar that sits on top of a DAW, called a different name in different DAWs. In Live, it's called the control bar, so you're going to find different names for this. And it is good to open up the manual and just to familiarize yourself with the names of each of the windows that are open. Is it called the project window? Is it called the arrange window? The main window where you have, I would say, like all your regions and audio visualization of all your audio files and such. It's going to help you do searches later on. So the reference manual is great for any device or software. I always like to read it. But sometimes you're in the moment and you just need to figure something out. And this is where the search functions or tools, I use Perplexity, which is an AI-powered search engine. It's really great. And sometimes I just need to figure out an extended feature or something I'm not familiar with in a DAW. I don't use it often. It's impossible to take in everything from a new DAW or device when you're learning it, when you don't have anything to connect it to. Just reading the manual isn't going to set in. It's not going to connect fully unless you're actually using that information you're learning. So I always limit myself when I'm learning a new DAW or when I'm learning a new analog synth or drum machine or sequencer to what I need to know at that moment. And if I know what the basic features are called, the terminology, then I could do a further search if I need to get deeper and figure it out very quickly. And the search engines are great because they can help grab the information very quickly instead of you having to search through a manual. Let's look at the Live manual real quick here. So the Live manual, we see they have a nice section in here called Live Concepts, which is actually great. I wish every manual did this to introduce you to the terminology that they use for, their DAW, right, which might be different and definitely different from other DAWs. And for instance, they have this terminology called the control bar, right? That's different from what they call it in Pro Tools and Logic and Luna. The status bar, right? And they do a good job of just laying out here what the various sections are. Now, if I go to the Logic manual, I can see what's in Logic Pro. Channel strips. We're already seeing some terminology that we can familiarize ourselves with here. I'm not seeing as nice of an introduction. Actually, they just start dropping in a lot of information about almost too much information. At first, they're telling you what's new for the various versions that you're doing. So you could probably go back to the beginning of the manual and you would get started. Oh yeah, look at all these, what's new. Getting started, overview, right? Great section to start with in software. As I mentioned, let's see if there's as good. I mean, yeah, it's telling us some terms, right? Regions, and we're seeing some ideas here about flex time, and I'm looking for just words, right, that are sticking out to me that could be specifically related to Logic. Okay, Pro main window, right? Smart controls inspector. Okay, so they have an area in here called the inspector. Control bar, tracks area, inspector. So this is already giving me some terminology. And if I need to know something about the inspector, it can open and close. You can hide the inspector. But if it disappeared and I can't remember how to get it back, I could go to Perplexity and I could put in how to open the inspector in Logic Pro. And just put in the search. Let's see. There it is. It gives me a bunch of information and gives me some related follow-up questions if I need to get deeper and if it didn't quite answer the question properly. This is great because immediately, without having to go and scroll through the manual, I'm immediately able to find how to access a feature that I just didn't familiarize myself with, or it's still too new, right? But it's important that I know the terminology, right, to be able to tell it how to find the feature, right? I do this with hardware manuals too. Here's something from Machine Plus, which I also use. I use a pretty wide variety of hardware and software. And I'm going to look through here again. I'm just not even looking at the whole manual. I'm just checking out the table of contents here for terminology. Connecting machine overview, edit section, performance section, transport section. So these are all going to be, they're going to have specific terminology in all of these. Between master, group, and sound level. Okay, so that's going to be specific terminology for the machine. Scenes and sections. What are those, right? And probably need to know what those are for machine. So there's a lot of sections in here that are going to have some very specific terminology with Machina. So again, I'm saying the same thing over and over again because it does apply to everything. There's the same terminology is not going to exist in all of these devices. So I make a cheat sheet. I have a Word document, or even just like a notebook. I have a Moleskine notebook where I can have whatever device I'm using, and I just write a lot of the main windows down, like we were saying with the Ableton here. What are these main concepts or areas that I'm working in? Because if I know I need to figure something out about the control bar, I could always put Ableton, the control bar, how to cycle, or set a loop, and it'll come up. Let's see, let's enable. Let's see, enable cycle mode in the control bar Ableton. Okay, that was helpful. It looks like a circular arrow in the control bar. Let's scroll in here, see if we could find it. There it is, right? Where my red mouse pointer is pointing. That is the loop button. It just saved me a lot of time. I do this all the time with Dorico. The Dorico has a pretty nice feature called the jump feature, which allows me to quickly search features within Dorico. There's still sometimes I have to look things up, and the Perplexity search app, and this is the app I actually downloaded. You could do it on the web, or you could download their desktop app, or they have an app for the iPad, and it's very easy to put in searches for, and it's really powerful. I think with AI, we have a lot of fear around it, which some of it is makes sense, but for the search function, as far as software and stuff, I don't know that I would completely trust it with medical information and stuff. But for searching like functions within software, it could be a really great friend to speed up your learning process and not going through as many moments where you're feeling like stuck or halted when you're trying to be creative. So first thing, whenever you get something new, just associate yourself with the terminology.